Early in the morning we are introduced to a black-haired girl named Nishino. She was once a child actor, but due to a scandal she has forced herself to play a facade and to wear a mask which seems to be working, as everyone at her school adores and likes her. Nishino now goes to school, and on their way there they do not notice a suspicious van parked near Nishino's home. After she arrives at school we are introduced to a boy named Kajino. Nishino claims to despise Kajino because of him being average. Also we are shown how Kajino treats her. Kajino during an interaction with Nishino gets her name wrong multiple times and is rude throughout the duration. But this is not the worst of it, as she points out that Kajino never looks at her, and when he does it feels distant and like he's looking through another lens, solidifying her hate for him even more. Classes have finished and it is now night time. Nishino calls for her driver, but it is revealed that something bad is happening. Her driver gets beaten up. Without knowing this, Nishino is troubled and decides to walk home. Kajino, watching from the rooftop, notices this. While walking down a street, a gigantic man reveals himself to Nishino and utters her name. Nishino immediately panics and tries to run away, but she is trapped and captured. Before she loses consciousness she sees Kajino in the distance doing nothing. Nishino now finds herself all tied up inside an abandoned building. During this her kidnappers reveal their motives. They seem to be doing this for ransom. We are then revealed to Kajino scoping out and opening his bag, exposing items like a ski mask and crowbars. One of the kidnappers seemed to be impatient, so he approaches Nishino with the intent of raping her. He also mentions this is not Nishino's first time getting kidnapped. While this is happening, Kajino, wearing a shuristi, manages to get on top of the building and smashes through the windows up top, revealing himself to the kidnappers. In response one of them pulls out a blicky, but before he manages to point it at Kajino, Kajino skillfully throws a knife, hitting the kidnapper on the hand, diverging his aim. Kajino takes this opportunity to take down the kidnapper and knocks him out. Meanwhile the second kidnapper turns out to be a veteran soldier. He praises Kajino's skills and challenges him on a one-on-one. As soon as Kajino accepted, the veteran soldier charged at him with a knife, managing to cut him once. But Kajino is not unarmed, as he reveals not one but two crowbars, creating a deadly combination. They continue on with the intense fight, with the veteran soldier taking on the upper hand because of his big frame. Kajino will not be left behind though, as he starts explaining why he has chosen crowbars as his weapons and reveals he has beaten multiple motorcycle gangs with them. Kajino breaks one of the veteran soldier's hands. Out of desperation the veteran soldier tries to reach for the gun on the floor. Straight away Kajino shuts it down and mercilessly starts messing this guy up. From one hit to another, Nishino can only witness from the sideline the blood spurting out and screams of agony. Moments later the guy is completely blacked out, so Kajino moves on and picks up the veteran soldier's knife. Using this he frees Nishino and disappears, while leaving behind both of the kidnappers tied up. We are revealed that Kajino is hiding in the ceiling, and despite a successful outcome he is not content with himself. Nishino calls the cops, and with her father being able to pull some strings the incident did not spread to the public, keeping her facade. Since then Nishino's relationship with Kajino seems to be advancing and improving, but all of this will be for nothing as the news reports that a local student named Minero Kajino dies from a truck accident. However, his story does not end there, but rather a start of a new one. Kajino is reincarnated and finds himself as the son of a baron. Kajino also has an older sister named Claire, whom he allows to overshadow him in order for him to continue his vigilante ways. During one of Kajino's missions he stumbles upon a rotting slave that was experiencing magic overload, so over a couple of months he experiments with trying to cure it and succeeds, revealing the rotten slave to be a beautiful elf. Upon the elf waking up, Kajino tricks her by saying she was once a hero that was cursed soon after defeating a demon, so that she joins him in his mission of being the Eminence in shadow. After accepting, Kajino names her Alpha. When Kajino's sister Claire turned 15 she was supposed to be enrolled in the Midgar Academy, but on the day of her departure she was nowhere to be found. During this time Kajino's secret organization called Shadow Garden has already grown its numbers and they have already scouted the whereabouts of his sister. Claire has been kidnapped by the cult of Diabolos. Right away they plan to rescue her by midnight. They easily infiltrate the hidden hideout, dropping the guards one by one, so the head of the compound has no choice but to take action himself. He confronts the group and initiates a one-on-one with Alpha, but after he starts losing the fight he takes an enhancing drug, amplifying his abilities. He then uses this to escape, but right after he comes across Kajino and they immediately start to fight. Although it is clearly obvious how one-sided the fight is going, Kajino starts punishing this man. For a desperate final attempt to even the fight, the man consumes all the drugs and grows physically larger. Still he is no match to Kajino and falls to his sword. After the fight Kajino picks up the man's locket containing a picture of him and his daughter. The next day Claire, after breaking out of her chains, comes back home and like nothing ever happened continued her departure to Midgar Academy. But that will be all for today's recap. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay tuned for the next part. Thank you for watching.